It does not matter how slowly you go so long as you do not stop. Confucius. Confucius's adage is a discourse on persistence, emphasizing continual progress over speed. It underscores the virtue of tenacity in the face of adversity or slow development. The emphasis on not stopping is pivotal, suggesting that the cessation of progress, rather than the pace, is the true adversary of success. This principle finds resonance across various contexts, from personal growth to professional projects. It aligns with the idea that consistent, incremental improvement leads to mastery and that the journey, with all its setbacks, is as critical as the destination. This philosophy echoes the modern concept of Kaizen, or continuous improvement, in personal and business endeavors. The underlying insight is that the compound effect of small, relentless steps can lead to significant achievements over time. The lesson is clear: endurance coupled with consistent effort, regardless of pace, is a foundational strategy for long-term success and fulfillment. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Confucius. This aphorism, often attributed to Confucius, speaks to the intrinsic value of resilience. It suggests that true success is not defined by an unblemished track record, but rather by the capacity to recover and learn from setbacks. The glory referenced is not simply a public accolade, but speaks to a deeper, personal triumph over adversity. This perspective reframes failure as an integral part of the growth process. Rising after a fall embodies the human spirit's strength and adaptability, and it's in this repeated act of overcoming that character and tenacity are forged. It teaches that perseverance in the face of challenges is more commendable than a path devoid of obstacles. The proverbial fall becomes a catalyst for self-improvement and a testament to the indomitable will to succeed. Hence, our greatest achievements may lie not in a singular success, but in the sum of our recoveries from each tumble we endure. Do not impose on others what you yourself do not desire. Confucius. This maxim, derived from the teachings of Confucius, encapsulates the principle of reciprocity and consideration in human interactions, which is akin to the golden rule found in many ethical traditions. It advocates for empathy by urging individuals to refrain from subjecting others to behavior or conditions they would find objectionable if reciprocated. This tenet promotes ethical consistency, urging one to internally assess one's actions by considering their impact on others if the roles were reversed. The insight here is foundational to social harmony and ethics. If individuals act with the awareness that their actions should be universally acceptable, social conflict can be minimized. This principle is deeply embedded in societal norms and legal frameworks, encouraging mutual respect and fairness. The enduring lesson is that moral behavior is rooted not just in adherence to rules, but in the cultivation of an empathetic mindset that guides interactions with others, a cornerstone for building just and cooperative communities. They must often change who would be constant in happiness or wisdom. Confucius. This aphorism, suggesting that adaptability is crucial for maintaining happiness and wisdom, speaks to the dynamic nature of life and the human condition. It implies that constancy in happiness and wisdom is not achieved by a rigid adherence to a fixed state or set of circumstances, which are inherently transient, but through the willingness to evolve. Happiness and wisdom are presented not as destinations, but as processes that require continuous adjustment and learning. The capacity to embrace change is therefore integral to sustaining them. This reflects the understanding that life's only constant is change itself, and our well-being is dependent on our response to the ever-shifting landscape of our experiences. The lesson is clear. Those who are flexible and open to revising their beliefs and strategies in light of new experiences and information are more likely to maintain happiness and grow in wisdom. It is a call to cultivate resilience and a proactive approach to personal development. Faced with what is right, to leave it undone shows a lack of courage. Confucius. This statement speaks to the moral fortitude required to act upon one's ethical convictions. Recognizing what is right is the first step, but the true measure of character is whether one acts on that knowledge. The implication is that knowledge of virtue is insufficient without the courage to implement it. It underscores the idea that inaction in the face of moral decisions is a failure of bravery. The lack of courage referenced is not merely physical but moral, the strength to confront social pressure, personal inconvenience, or risk for the sake of righteousness. The deeper insight is that ethical behavior demands more than passive understanding. It requires the proactive will to stand by one's principles, especially when it is challenging. This precept serves as a call to action, urging individuals to not only discern what is right, but also to have the audacity to act upon it, thus bridging the gap between moral awareness and ethical action. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. Confucius. This profound statement, often attributed to Confucius, touches upon the Socratic wisdom that true knowledge involves recognizing the limitations of one's understanding. It challenges the notion of complacency in knowledge and stresses the importance of intellectual humility. Acknowledging the extent of one's ignorance is foundational to the pursuit of learning because it opens the door to inquiry and growth. This self-awareness prevents the kind of hubris that can blind individuals to their own deficits and to the vastness of what remains to be learned. The underlying insight is that the quest for knowledge is infinite and that wisdom involves an ongoing dialogue between what is known and the mysteries that lie beyond current comprehension. The lesson is twofold: remain humble in the face of the boundless unknown, and let the awareness of ignorance be a driving force for continuous learning and self-improvement. Hold faithfulness and sincerity as first principles. Confucius. This directive, often associated with Confucian philosophy, places paramount value on faithfulness, loyalty and steadfastness, and sincerity, genuineness and honesty, as foundational virtues for personal conduct and social interaction. By elevating these traits as first principles, the statement asserts that all ethical behavior stems from these core qualities. Faithfulness implies a commitment to one's duties and promises, while sincerity suggests a congruence between one's words and actions. Together, they create a framework for trustworthiness and integrity. The insight here is that without a bedrock of faithfulness and sincerity, other virtues may become unstable or misleading. For instance, kindness without sincerity can be manipulative, and courage without faithfulness can be reckless. The lesson emphasizes that to cultivate a moral life and a stable society, individuals should prioritize these virtues in their relationships and dealings. They are the groundwork upon which a trustworthy character is built and upon which a harmonious community can thrive. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Confucius. This aphorism encapsulates the hierarchy of learning processes. Hearing represents the initial, often passive stage of learning. Seeing deepens the impact through observation and memory reinforcement. Doing, however, is the most effective educator, as it involves active engagement and personal experience, which leads to understanding. This progression from passive to active participation underscores the experiential learning theory, where knowledge is constructed through the transformation of experience. It implies that true comprehension is achieved not just through intellectualizing concepts, but through the application and practice of them in real-world scenarios. The insight is that education should not only convey information but also involve learners in hands-on experiences that allow them to internalize and apply what they have learned. This is at the heart of many pedagogical approaches, such as project-based learning and apprenticeships. The lesson is that to fully grasp a concept or skill, one must move beyond passive reception and actively engage with the subject matter. This is a call to value experiential learning as a powerful tool for deep and lasting education. Respect yourself and others will respect you. Confucius. Self-respect is the cornerstone of dignity and sets the standard for how others perceive and treat us. It fosters self-worth and principles, compelling others to mirror this respect. By valuing ourselves, we exude a presence that commands consideration, influencing interpersonal dynamics and societal structures. The underlying insight is that internal esteem projects outwardly, shaping external interactions. The conclusion is that self-respect is not just self-regard, it's a powerful catalyst for reciprocal respect, creating a virtuous cycle of mutual recognition and esteem. The lesson is clear: respect begins within and resonates outward, influencing the world around us. Study the past if you would define the future. Confucius. This maxim emphasizes the importance of historical understanding as a tool for shaping the future. By studying past events, patterns, and outcomes, one gains insight into the forces that have shaped the present. This understanding is invaluable for making informed decisions that will influence what is to come. The underlying insight is that history is a repository of knowledge and experience, one that offers lessons on cause and effect, success and failure. The lesson is that a thoughtful reflection on history is not merely academic, it is a practical exercise in foresight and planning, essential for anyone seeking to influence or understand the trajectory of future events. Have no friends not equal to yourself. Confucius. This aphorism, often rooted in Confucian philosophy, suggests that one should choose friends who reflect one's own moral and intellectual standards. The essence lies in the belief that friendships profoundly influence personal growth and character development. Associating with individuals who embody qualities we respect and aspire to can inspire improvement and foster a supportive environment for pursuing personal excellence. Conversely, relationships with those who do not share similar values or aspirations may lead to compromises in one's principles or stagnation. The insight here is that social circles are not just companionship, they are catalysts for our personal evolution. The lesson is to be discerning in our relationships, seeking connections that challenge and elevate rather than those that hinder our potential. He who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. Confucius. This proverb warns of the pitfalls at either end of the intellectual spectrum: learning without critical thinking and thinking without learning. Learning without the application of thought leads to rote memorization, which lacks depth and understanding, hence one is lost, unable to apply knowledge effectively. On the other hand, thinking without a foundation of knowledge can lead to misguided conclusions, thus one is in great danger of error and misjudgment. The core insight is that both learning and thinking are essential and must work in tandem. The lesson is a call for a balanced approach to knowledge acquisition and application, emphasizing the importance of reflection and critical analysis in making learned information truly valuable and safe from misapplication.